Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes. Now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary listeners, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookians, amigos and amigas, familia and squad, the mighty might boss tones. The audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you can't afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our hosts' past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events unrelated to outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin' Gambler, just trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
Have you ever had the odds stacked up so high you need a strength most don't possess? Or has it ever come down to do or die, you've got to rise above the rest? I've never had to knock on wood, but I know someone who has, which makes me wonder if I could. It makes me wonder if I've never had to knock on wood, and I'm glad I haven't yet, because I'm sure it isn't good. That's the impression that I get. I'm not a coward. I've just never been tested. I like to think that if I was, that I would pass. Look at the tested and think, there, but the grace of God, go I. That's the real casino combat mindset. We grind with skill. We gamble with grace. And when the TRG verse hands us a win, we nod, tap the felt, knock on wood, and get ready for the next shuffle. Welcome to episode 178 of our Casino Combat Podcast. If this is your next time, thank you so very much for the return click. If this is your first time, thank you for the gift of your time. We do appreciate it. We'd like you to stick around and be part of our squad. And that's not the royal we, that's a very literal we, and you are going to hear that loud and clear in this episode. I'll get to the battle plan for the episode in a minute, but if this is your first time, I want to tell you what you've clicked into. Very literally, the greatest gift any gambler could be given. Well, any serious gambler, any gambler that's interested in winning and being good and being skilled. You see, we are years into this thing now. We are years into this thing called our Casino Combat Podcast. We have years and years of data. We have multiple people's experiences. I am happy to tell you with no smirk and no arrogance, this podcast can teach you how to win the game of casino gambling. Yes, people hear that all the time and roll their eyes. That's fine. When you know, you know. And as a squad, we know that we know. We have a unique mindset. We have a unique arsenal. We have a unique skill set. We know that we know. We know we freely give the gift of what we know to anyone who asks. In that context, I've never had to knock on wood, and I'm glad I haven't had to yet, and I wonder if I could. All right. I have a great battle plan for episode 178 of our Casino Combat Podcast. This all came together really so very, very well. I really like that I'm the first voice of our squad, but not the only voice, with the emphasis on the second part. You don't have to believe one guy. You don't have to believe one voice. You don't have to believe me. But I think you have no choice but to believe us. And this is an us episode, way more than it's a me episode. We are going to start with a Questions My Sons Ask segment. I got a rather complex hero or crook question via email this week, and I want to try to share some thoughts on that particular prompt. But then I'm going to turn over our Core Koncepts segment to Excelsior Brigade member Double Down 21. He's done some really interesting work recently. He has an interesting take on 6-5 versus 3-2 Blackjack that I asked him to share with everyone, and he was generous enough to do that. Then we're going to do a travel segment because YouTube star Same Bet from the channel of the same name was recently in Las Vegas giving new meaning to the term roaming the strip. He and I had a conversation about that, which was really, really very interesting. I think you're going to love that. Travel from a slightly different point of view. After that, it's a moment of casino wisdom, and yes, it's a bit of a stretch to do this in that segment, but one of our wisdoms teaches us to have allies, and as I said, this is a lot of us on this episode, a lot of allies. One of the podcast's best allies is Equine Ensign, the host of 30 Day Gambler on YouTube on the channel of the same name. He recently finished another 30 Day of Craps results and was kind enough to send over a summary of those results so that I could share it with the entire squad. Then we will finish up with some sips and a quick story. We'll see if it's a quick story. You know me if you know me. But a quick story in the virtual VIP lounge. I hope it'll be quick. I wrote here that it will be quick. Just an interesting moment that may have been, I hope it was a joke, and I guess it may have been literal, and we will probably never know, but it was fun, and it's a fun story. We will get started on all that in just a second, but let me do one around the Casino Combat Galaxy item that is really long overdue. When I was thinking about starting all of this all those years ago, I had concerns about audio editing, which I knew nothing about, and concerns about finding the time and the necessary skills to sort out at least some sort of social media strategy and presence. And I was kicking that over with a couple, just in text message. You know, it was the pandemic. We were all texting everybody. But a gambler that I had known off and on for a long time, just to see him around and know him well enough to have a phone number and an email for him. And T-Rex offered to sort out the audio editing and still does most of the audio editing, although he's taught me enough to get through it when I just decide to record on my own or he's busy. And then Billy with the great last name, nobody calls him that. I mean, we call him that, but I mean, nobody really calls him that. I was just hiding his identity to protect the innocent and the guilty, I guess. But Billy with the great last name said he would sort out some social media accounts for me. And over the years, they both taught me enough that sometimes I handle the editing and the social media because they're busy. Their lives are very different now than what their lives were then. And at the same time, I still lean on Billy. I'll text him some sort of idea or a picture or a screen grab, and he'll go through the process of putting that out on Instagram and on Facebook for me. I usually still send T-Rex a file, often a set of files that are a mess with verbal notes in the files, and he sorts out all of that for me. I truly appreciate both of them and what they do and what they have done, what they continue to do. But I also want to thank the guy in the chair, a listener that became a good friend who has voluntarily seen openings that needed to be resolved and become involved in helping me keep all of this whole TRG-verse on track moving forward. Without his help, a lot of what makes it to the air or to the internet wouldn't happen, or it would happen in a very different way. In fact, I kind of have a personal rule that if he suggests something, I need to do my best to find a way to get it done, regardless of what's involved. He's a really important part of what we do. Everybody needs a guy in a chair. I'm certainly glad I have one. I do admittedly have a couple of items still that I have not finished that he put on my list, but his contributions behind the scenes are immeasurable, and I really do appreciate all that he does for our podcast. Okay, let's get started with that battle plan. Let's get started with Questions My Sons Ask.
What? What?
My sons ask questions about gambling, somewhat just because they've been around it for a lot of their lives without being gamblers themselves. Listeners ask questions about gambling, and I just got a really great email from a listener. Wonderful, wonderful question. Great question. And the subject line reads, "Quick question, dude. Bonus saver spin." And so the email says, "Hey, TRG, just found the podcast recently. Love the vibe. You are legit. So I was cruising through the casino the other night and saw this machine that still had a few cents left in it, like pennies, and the screen said bonus saver or wager saver or something." Oh, I got it. It looks like it just needed one little spin to see what happens. There wasn't anyone around, and my buddy goes, "Dude, you should just hit it." But I wasn't sure if that was cool or is that kind of sketchy. Like, it's not my money, but it also is just a few pennies, you know? What's the move here, man? Be a hero or walk away or take the shot. Thanks, Chad from Cocoa Beach. Thank you, Chad from Cocoa Beach. Great question. Thank you for emailing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for taking the time. Everyone else, if you've not seen this happen, some slot machines, when you have less than enough money left for the least expensive, I shouldn't say cheap, when you don't have enough, suppose the smallest wager on the machine is 50 cents, and you have 32 cents left. You don't have enough money left to make the smallest wager, and they will give you an option to spin, in this case, your 34 cents, for some small sliver of a chance. I think that you get one more spin. It's not something I do a lot, but it's a way to take less than enough money for a full spin, and instead of pulling it out of the machine, take one more, throw caution to the wind spin, and see if you can get a little something out of the process. And sometimes walking around the casino, you will see a machine beeping, kind of waiting for someone to activate the spin or return to the game, and you can add more money at that point, or you can cash out the 32 cents or for 34 cents or whatever I just said a minute ago that I have no notes on. So look, to Chad's great question, here's the hero or crook dilemma and potentially a potential legal question. The 100% morally right hero thing to do is to leave it alone. Or I guess if you want to play that specific machine, call for a slot attendant and ask them to resolve the issue, which they will most likely see as a complete pain, as they have to document the machine, the amount of money, the time of day it was discovered, etc., in case someone comes back to claim the money. So the ultimate hero move is probably just walk away. Not my monkey, not my zoo. Let the universe resolve the issue without involving yourself. That is probably the move that makes everyone the happiest and makes you do the most rightest of right things. Any other choice? We have some, I guess you called it sketchy. We have some sort of crook move area there with a lot of shades of gray and some nuance. Technically, in a lot of jurisdiction, taking another person's money and playing it is a crime. And we're talking about abandoned pennies. If anyone is watching from security and notices you do this and notices that it wasn't you, I mean, they're probably not paying any attention to that. And if they are and are 100% certain that you broke a law, are they going to bother coming and making a big deal out of it and making you give them back whatever the pennies were on the slip so they can go through the hassle of going through the paperwork and filing it away? And technically it's the wrong thing to do in almost all jurisdictions. Technically you're breaking a law. Technically you can get arrested. It's hard not to see how it's a who cares situation, but for some people it's not. And let me explain some adjacent scenarios. Let me expand the scenario a little bit, if you will, and then I'll give you my personal TRG guideline for situations like this. One nuance of this, the expanded scenario, is that if you tap the screen and play the wager saver, the bonus saver, whatever they call it on that machine, you've really done two things. You have, as I was pointing out, taken someone else's money, and then you've gambled that money. And that is a little different. That is a little more serious than finding money in a machine and cashing it out and walking away with it. That's one wrong. Two wrongs if you actually play it, I guess, technically according to the rules as I understand them. Or the one that bugs me the most, the thing that bugs me the most is having someone cash out their pennies and then leave the slip on the machine. They don't want the money, or at least not enough to go stand in line and carry the change home, but they leave the slip there and no one is technically allowed to take it. And this same issue can occur now that a lot of the bill changers don't give out change. They print a slip after the person has walked away and it's hanging out of the bill changer or lying on the floor. And what are you supposed to do? What's the right thing? Once the money's out of the machine, these are all variations of a theme. Once we get the money out of the machine, who put it where and what and why, it's all part of the same kind of problem. The money is just lying there. The money isn't yours. No one is probably going to care, and someone needs to resolve the issue, and the casino staff would rather not bother. Actually, the casino staff would rather not bother, which reminds me of a story. I'll finish this thought, and then I'll finish the segment with that story. Yeah, a personal guideline. This is how I operate at the present moment. Late October 2025. I may change my mind in 3 months because of something someone else says or tells me or shows me or a new article that I read. But right now, at this moment in time, here's my personal guideline. If the amount of money is 99 cents or less, I'm taking the money. Not because I need the money, but in the net interest of cleaning up a little corner of the casino world, a little bit of a problem laying around there. If it's in the machine, I'm pressing return, and the little light's flashing, and it wouldn't be over 99 cents. But if the saver is flashing, if the bonus thing is flashing, I'm pressing return to game. I'm cashing out the pennies. A slip I find abandoned on a machine, sticking out of a bill changer on the floor, a quarter on the floor, I'm picking it up. Casually, and if anyone says anything, I'm playing the old, stupid, scared, I'm sorry, I didn't know, oh, here it is, what should we do? I'm playing dumb and old. Paper money or slips on the floor with a value of $1 or more, I'm either ignoring it or getting casino staff involved depending on the amount. If there's $1 laying there, I am probably just going to let it go. I'm back to not my monkey, not my zoo. Somebody else figure this one out. That's how I handle things. Do what makes sense to you. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. I think there is a sliding scale of trying to be such the perfect moral person that you just make everybody's life miserable and being a flat-out crook and actively looking for ways to find money someone might have left behind that you can take. And in between there's a lot of gray. Do what makes sense to you. Those are kind of my guidelines. So 2 quick stories to wrap up my thoughts on this question. First, Mrs. TRG and I once put a small amount of time, but we put some time and effort to protect a small stack of money lying on the casino floor and to get the attention of a pit boss to get him to come pick the money up and document it. And just lying on the floor, looking at it from where we were, it looked like it was a few $1 bills. More than one, but just a few $1 bills. In reality, once someone else picked it up and documented it, it was a small sum, but there was a 20 and a 5 in there. There was a bit more than $30 in there. And now here's the cool part. We did what we thought was the right thing. We didn't pick the money up. We got someone on the staff to take care of it. The pit boss wrote us a $50 dinner comp for doing the right thing. And then we found out later when we were playing at the same table that an older lady, a first-time casino visitor, had come by and claimed the money and been so very happily and so very grateful to have, air quotes, all her money back. So it was a big deal by observation of others. It was a big deal to her. The other story that came to mind is I was playing craps locally and there was a small coin in the rack. And it was kind of in my way and it was kind of messing with how I normally want to do my money management. It's just one of those, once again, it shouldn't be there. Don't know why someone left it there, but it's not supposed to be there. And it was going to keep sitting there till someone resolved it. And I could either, A, keep moving it over and moving my chip and keeping it there in the rack, or I could do something about it. And I'm right beside the stick, which says I'm right beside a casino employee, and at a break in the game, I pointed to it and I asked the stick, do you want me to make this disappear or do you want to handle it? And he never looked at me. He kept looking straight ahead. He kept doing his job. And just out of the side of his mouth, he said, handle it and don't ask me next time so I'm not breaking any rules. So I learned from that. But that's also something you can learn from, right? He wanted it done. He wanted the problem solved. But if I'd have really made him aware of it officially, if other people had heard the conversation, then he had an obligation to take the 10 cents or whatever it was, the dime, and put it in a bag and write down the name of the table and write his initials and get somebody else to initial it. And all those things are supposed to happen. That's what I mean when I say sometimes on those little small ones, I feel like almost the hero move is to just tidy the area, right? No one really cares. Let's make the least work for everybody. Let's make the least friction for everybody, and let's just clean up the small things, and we can all go about the business of business and go about the business of casino gambling. Thanks for the question, Chad. I hope that helps. It is a tough one. At least you know what your options are now. All right, the sentence you never thought you would hear me say in the Core Koncepts segment next. The case is made for playing 6-5 blackjack instead of playing 3-2 blackjack. I never, ever thought I'd be saying that. Here we go.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
Chronic spontaneous urticaria, or chronic hives with no known cause. It's so unpredictable. It's like playing pinball. Itchy, red bumps start on my arm, then my back. Sometimes my legs. Hives come out of nowhere. And it comes and goes. But I just found out about a treatment option at treatmyhives.com. Take that, chronic hives. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
All right, let me quickly just set this up a little bit because it is unusual to be presenting this topic. We have a couple of core concepts. If you're not familiar with all the core concepts, if you can't do them from memory, if you can't explain them to the uncle over a beer at Thanksgiving, you need to get acquainted with those. The first maybe 8 to 10 episodes, we'll run you through those. There's a playlist boot camp on our YouTube channel that will run you through these. There is a blog post on the website casinocombat.com that will be happy to level you up with regards to the core concepts, but there are a couple of them. One, make wagers with a small house advantage that provide tier and reward credits for play, defining the types of wagers we are going to make to be successful at the game of casino gambling. And another of our very important core concepts, try to win the month, not the machine, the table, or the day. And if you don't, make it up with comps and gifts. So, not going to win them all. And we are looking for comp and gift value as one of the options for how we can win the game of casino gambling. Well, Excelsior Brigade member Double Down 21 has examined 6-5 blackjack versus 3-2 blackjack through the lens of those two aspects of the core concepts, and has an interesting and useful take that I asked him to share with all of you, and he was nice enough to do that for us.
Everybody says it. Never play 6-5 blackjack. It's the golden rule, right? But here's the thing nobody tells you. That same bad game, it can make you look like a bigger player than the guy at the 3-2 table next to you. That's right. The casino's computer actually loves 6-5 players. And once you know why, you can use it to your advantage. Here's how it works. The system tracks something called theoretical loss. That's what decides your comps, your offers, even how your host, if you have one, sees you. Theo is simple math. Your average bet times the house edge times the time you played. Now, same bet, same time, but different edges. Big difference. 3-2 blackjack has roughly 0.5% edge. 6-5, around 2%. That's 3 to 4 times higher. So to the computer, your $25 6-5 session looks like a $75 session on a good game. You haven't risked more money, but the system thinks you have. And that's the secret. 6-5 costs more if you grind it for hours, but used smart, short sessions, smaller bets. It's a fast way to boost your Theo and tier credits without breaking the bank. You're not chasing luck, you're working the math. So yeah, 3-2 is the sharper game long term, but 6-5, it's not the villain people make it out to be. It's a tool. Play it short, play it smart, and you'll make the casino's own math work for you. Full breakdown and examples are up now on the Fred section of Casino Combat. Thanks, everyone.
Thought-provoking stuff. You got to admit, thought-provoking stuff. It makes you think. That 6-5 table at $15 minimum versus the $50 table at 3-2 that you really didn't bring the bankroll to play. My anti 6-5 stand is an ethical one, and at the same time, I really appreciate the challenge. I really do. Double Down's take is solid. The math is solid. He makes a compelling argument, and I thank him very much for taking the time to think through it, work it out. The materials that he sent over to put on the website are some good stuff. The deep dive, if you ever get a chance to see the deep dive he did into how various casino brands track our play, the software that they use, amazing stuff, amazingly good stuff. Thanks once again. Next, we have a travel segment with Dave Same Bet Carlin. When I recorded this, I was sure it would end up as a virtual VIP lounge segment. So there is a little bit of this that T-Rex is going to have to chop out. You won't hear it, but we're going to do a little edit here. I had 3 strong segments from other members of the squad, voices other than my own, and I wanted to find a place for all of them in this episode. So I bent the rules a little bit. Let's put that on the fact that I get to wear the ring. So enjoy a travel segment with Same Bet. The story about the segment, to get to the segment, is that I'm scrolling through social media and I see one of Same Bet's posts, and I'm just immediately like, I have so many questions. I have so many things I want to know. We really should talk about this, and he said he would. So let me run down the list, right? Let me run down this list. This is as you posted it. And Paris, Treasure Island, Rio, Sahara, Circus, Slots of Fun, Resorts World, Fountain Blue, Caesar's Palace with an apostrophe, Flamingo, Link, Casino Royale, Harrah's, and Excalibur. And then you said 18,000 steps, down 800 for the day, 110 for the trip. And I just immediately went, my first thought, and maybe that's not the case, but I was like, was that the actual order? I mean, was it Treasure Island to Rio to Sahara?
No, actually, that was the actual path that we took.
And all on foot? No cabs, no ride shares, limousines?
No. I had a rental car, so that probably makes a lot more sense.
Okay. Well, you said 18,000, so it's 18,000 steps plus the car.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now that makes sense. No, I was imagining you doing all of this on foot, and I'm just like, Wow, that takes dedication.
Well, I can see how that, in hindsight, 18,000 steps. Yeah, that sounds like that's what I did. But I'm sure that would have been like, I don't know, 118,000 steps doing that way.
Well, all the way to Rio through the broken glass, all of that kind of stuff. Food, drink, nostalgia, attractions. What kind of drove the list, or was it just random?
No, I was there with a friend. So kind of like the story to get to the story. I've been to Vegas so many times now that I pretty much stay where I'm planted or within one or two casinos of around there. But the friend of mine that I was with, he hadn't been to very many places. So we went on a journey. He wanted to visit as many casinos as we possibly could. And that's how we set out to do it. He is a craps player as I am, and that was really what he was interested in seeing, is all the different tables, all the different games that they had, and we just kind of went where the wind took us that day, and that worked out great for me. I enjoyed it.
Oh no, it sounds like a lot of fun. Once I heard there was a car involved, then I'm like, oh no. I was seeing the distances. I really was. But that leads us then logically to the money. Minus 80 for the day, minus 110 for the trip.
Yep.
Given limits on the strip, is that skilled play or limited play?
Oh, without a doubt, limited play. Extremely limited play. In fact, I exclusively played TRG2 or pad, play all day. That's all I did. So, 10 unit buy-ins, keeping it very simple, very cheap, and that pretty much speaks to who I am. I am about as low roller as you can get. In fact, if you remember the other day, I tried to estimate my average daily theoretical,
right,
through the use of Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, and it came back and said that was an impressively low ADT. It's like I've never heard an low ADT be called impressive, but I got it.
Well, we should get you the plaque. We should get you the plaque and let you put it on the wall. But I will say, times when I'm in a casino and maybe limits are a little higher, and I want to be in the casino, but I don't necessarily want to be particularly exposed, TRG2 on the Don't Pass really does that.
Yeah.
It's either going great for you and horrible for everybody else, or you're just kind of hanging out with one.
That's exactly it. And that's was my objective. I was in Vegas for 4 days, and I'll just be candid. I had $500 to gamble with for 4 days. That's hard to do in Vegas unless you are mentally prepared to do these little $3 or $5 bets, on a roll to win table or a bubble craps. But I did it, and at the end of the day, or at the end of the trip, I was down about $90. So it didn't change much from that first day that
it sounds like a very successful trip at the same time.
Mission was accomplished. I wasn't going there as a part-time job. In my local casino, yes, I'm in, I'm out. I don't want to spend a lot of time there. But when I'm in Vegas, I'm in a different mindset. I'm not there necessarily to win. I'm there to relax, have a good time. And for me, that's time at the table. Even if it's a small amount of money, that's time at the table. And playing conservative TRG2 method, that gave me what I needed. That gave me what I wanted.
Excellent. Excellent. I love it. And then for perspective, my very first trip ever to Las Vegas, 7 days, gambling money for me and my new bride. My bankroll was $300.
Yeah.
And I don't think we probably touched half of it, because the expensive tables were $2 tables.
Yeah.
So 10 unit buy-in is $20.
Yeah. Those were the days, right?
Yeah, well, yes, they were in a lot of ways. But it wasn't a small amount of money for seven, it just amazing. Inflation is not a helpful thing to gamblers, I guess. So this one's Kismet, right? It's all on her. She thought it would be fun to do casino impressions rapid fire. So I have the name of a casino and then a Kismet prompt, and feel free to ignore Kismet because sometimes that is the best answer. Just give us whatever you want to give us. Kismet's like winning. It's easy until it's not.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so your list started at Paris. Is that because that's where you were staying?
No, I was picking up my friend from Paris.
Got it. Okay. Treasure Island. Is that nostalgia or curiosity?
Curiosity. I hadn't played there before.
Very cool. Very cool. Rio, how is it under the new ownership? What was your impression?
It was cleaner. It was brighter. I was pleasantly surprised with Rio, except for, if I can, they have a $3 craps table, and that was the reason that we went there. $3 for a full-size table. That table was bouncier than anything I've ever seen. It was like watching popcorn. The dice all over the place. So, and it was packed full. We didn't actually get to play. It was crazy. It was too full to get on the table.
So it sounds like from their point of view, it worked. It pulled people in.
That's right. Right.
Cool. Let's see what do we have next here. Sahara, how is they remodeled? They rebranded. Then they rebranded back to Sahara. Is the remodel holding up, or is it starting to feel like the old Sahara if you ever were at the old Sahara?
No, I would say the remodel's pretty modern, but I would also say there's nothing remarkable about Sahara. Been there, check the box. I don't need to go there again.
Okay. Circus. Please tell me you went for the steakhouse and that was the only reason.
No. Again, kind of the nostalgia. My friend that had been there, he went there as a kid with his parents, and he wanted to go back and see it. So, we spent a little time just kind of walking around. I did play the roll to win table at Circus, and did pretty good on it actually for the dollar amounts that I was saying. But yeah, that was 100% nostalgia.
Okay, and then which leads us to slots of fun just because it's there.
Yes. Yeah. We had, and they did have a roll to win table, but it wasn't open.
Oh, I guess I wouldn't have thought that.
Me neither.
No, that's good information. And then you kind of completely flip the script and go Resort World. How busy was it? Dead or
it wasn't
busy?
No, it wasn't busy at all, except for college kids. There was some big national college, I don't know what you would call it, not a road trip, but it was a college trip where all these kids from all around the world came to Vegas for a weekend. And it was just the Resort World and Fontainebleau both had quite a few of these college kids just hanging around.
So Fontainebleau, is it so nice that it's too nice, like almost being at your grandma's house nice and you don't want to break anything? Or was it fun?
No, to me, it was just another casino. It was nice, but there was nothing super appealing to me to bring me back to Fontainebleau. We walked through the place, we played a little bubble craps, and moved on. Nothing spectacular.
Well, that is everybody I talk to, that's their impression. Saw it because they wanted to say they did and didn't really. You're right there with everybody else. We established that you didn't walk this whole thing, so that makes this one a little less interesting. Caesars, did you walk all the way from the Augusta Tower to the mall entrance over by what was the Mirage is now gonna be Hard Rock?
Further, we actually went from Treasure Island down to Caesars. I think we went to Treasure Island twice, and I only listed it once in that in there. So
right. So Treasure Island, past the construction, into the mall, up the windy staircase, all the way through the mall that has 3 Gucci stores selling 3 different kinds of products side by side. That's like an entire Vegas block, right?
not quite. We sort of did that. So once we got over to that first entrance into the mall, we went in, saw that there was the mall entrance, and actually went back outside and went further down to go into the casino. I tell you, if you've never been to Vegas in October, it's a beautiful time to go. It was 79 degrees outside. It was fantastic. So we wanted to spend time outside. So if we're going to walk, we're going to get outside and do it.
Probably the more interesting way to get there, quite honest. I mean,
yeah.
I always just laugh at these empty, big, expensive stores, redundant in somebody must shop there. I don't know.
They need to put slot machines in these stores and bring people in.
There we get people in. Flamingo, did you happen to notice table limits, full-size craps or blackjack table limits?
Yeah, full-size craps was $15 when we walked through it.
Okay, yeah. That's last time I was there, I couldn't find anything less than 25.
Yeah, there were a lot of $15 tables and a few $10 tables. At the right time, you can get a $10 table.
Okay. That's encouraging. That's good intel. So I got to ask, at the link, given its target audience, did you feel like a babysitter?
I didn't really know. I would say no. The time of day that we went through there was probably around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Okay. So it had a little bit of an older crowd.
Okay. Casino Royale, place in my heart. First place I ever broke a casino game. Do they still have tables? Is it all just slots?
It's all just slots, but they did have some bubble craps in there.
Okay. Grand Slam at Denny's while you were there?
No, but I looked at it. But yeah, I like Casino Royale too. They used to have a table in there that was pretty decent years ago.
Harrah's has remodeled. Harrah's has remodeled since I was there. It's very purple now, from what I see in the pictures. What did you think?
Yeah, it's purple. But I actually liked Harrah's. They had, I think, 4 to 6 tables. And at least one of them was a $10 table. My friend got on that one, and I went over and played some bubble craps. But for people who like a hard surface table, the Harrah's was a pretty decent place to play. And he got on it, and it was just him and one other person. So that was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, that's great for us. Maybe not great for Caesars Entertainment Corp.
Yeah.
And then given what you've told me, I get Excalibur, but you're at Excalibur and you're not across the street to New York, or over to MGM Grand?
No, actually, I stayed at Excalibur. So just a little personal information. My wife is the point winner in our family, and she wasn't able to go with me on this trip. So the only place I was eligible for comps was Excalibur. But it was a pretty good deal. I got a $75 food credit and 4 nights there, so it worked out pretty good. And that was nostalgia as well. So it was necessity and nostalgia. When I first started going to Vegas, that's all I could afford. Was Excalibur.
Right.
So
right. So you lobbed it. So I'm going to go ahead and take the lob. That was the only place you could get comped. You didn't think, hey, TRG, Premier Casino Hosting, you know who I am. Can you set me up here? Can you set me up there? You didn't think maybe Sunset Station, since you had a car? We'd have gotten you hooked up.
I wanted to stay on the strip. And I knew from my play at Caesars, I just don't have any points really. I couldn't get anything. And I know I've worked with Michael Feldman in the past, and he has done some pretty remarkable things. But in my mind, maybe right or wrong, I didn't think you guys could get me the food credit. I didn't mind staying at Excalibur, so right.
And you probably wouldn't have been able to get the food credit on the front. That's a significant value.
And I know that on the back end, I wasn't going to have much play, so we weren't going to be able to do a whole lot.
Got it. Makes sense. Good decision making. I just, we're always an option. You never don't have any other options. Just to kind of bring this home, or at least bring it to off Kismet's script and throwing that to the side. Of that list of casinos, which would be the one you would most want to go back to?
Treasure Island. That one really surprised me. I just liked the vibe of it. The table minimums were fairly low, 15 or less. Just kind of a not mid strip, but a little bit further to the north. Good location. I would spend a little bit of time back there.
Okay. And was there any other property that you wish you would have managed to get to that you didn't as part of this run through the strip?
Well, kind of a follow-up to that post that I did. The next day, I went to New York, and I really enjoy New York. We've stayed there before. I like the rooms there. I like the vibe there. And I played some stadium craps over there, and I really enjoyed that. Also spent time at Red Rock. I did not play. I had dinner with some friends at Red Rock, and the Orleans. Yeah. Yeah. What can I say about the Orleans? Wonder what Kismet says about Orleans.
I actually have a client that has so much money that if he gave me his money, I would just take all my money and put it in the house and set it on fire and walk away. But his thing is he and 3 other people in the same profession that he is in, that are professional colleagues, once a year go out there to play incredibly low stakes blackjack and smoke cigars for 2 days.
Yeah.
The attraction for them is the ratio between their wealth and the low stakes at Orleans. I've heard it has declined a little bit in recent years. I haven't been there in a while.
Well, I hadn't been there in many years, and I couldn't really remember that much about it. So I'll just say I was not impressed with Orleans.
Okay. Orleans, if you're listening, you're welcome to Equal Time. You're welcome to come on the podcast anytime. Just email me. We'll be happy to have you on to talk about your wonderful property. Do not be offended. We don't need any lawsuits. If someone in the squad was going to repeat the route, what advice would you give them?
Wear good shoes. That'd be the number one thing. My feet were tired.
So not boots.
I would not recommend boots. No.
Oh, man. All right. Well, the floor is yours. Anything else you want to share that I didn't think or Kismet didn't think to ask?
Yeah. So we kind of touched on it before. I was just really impressed with October travel to Vegas. It was crowded on the weekends. I came in on a Friday night and left on Tuesday morning. The weekend was kind of crowded, but after that crowd left, it was fantastic. Weather was good. It was nice. It wasn't overly crowded. You can pretty much get on a table just about any time you wanted. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful time to go. So yeah, that was my recommendation. I would definitely go back in October.
We were there in October 2 years ago, and we were just before Formula One.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I did not like. they had already started setting up all of the lights along the way, and I felt it really distracted from the tourist point of view. I know the locals aren't fans of having the F1 there, but as a tourist, I wasn't a fan either. They spend months preparing for it. They spend a month or so tearing it down for what, a 2-hour race? That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Vegas can afford to not have that.
We are on the same page. We are absolutely on the same page.
Oh,
all right. Hey,
I did forget one.
What's that?
We went to Ellis Island. And
I have never been. Tell us your impressions.
I've been twice. So the first time I went there was before the remodel, and it was an okay, kind of a mom and pop type of a casino, not big, but not bad. Known for some cheap food that was pretty decent. And when we went back this time, we were there early in the morning, around 8:45. Had a nice little breakfast there, for less than $10. It wasn't expensive. And then opened the table. So that's one of the tables I did play on. And I played TRG2 for maybe 30, 45 minutes. I bought in with $50. That's 10 $5 chips. I cashed out with $71, and I was happy with that.
That works. So you told me I was going to ask you about their house brewed beer and their ribs, but you were there in the morning, so wrong time for that question.
Biscuits and gravy. That was pretty good.
That sounds good. I got to, maybe on this next trip out, I got to make a point of spending some time there because I hear nothing but great things.
Yeah, the remodel looked really good. They really made it look modern. It looked like it belonged in Vegas. So Ellis Island, that was a nice little place to go. And I imagine maybe later in the day it probably got pretty crowded because of their low table limits. But when we were there, it was fine.
I want to really make a point to stop there this time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be on a solo trip. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you heard. Premier Casino Hosting is the first independent hosting company to sign a deal to host for the Plaza down on Fremont Street.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out kind of for a soft open test run just a few weeks here to kind of let Plaza see what it's like with guests that understand it's a first time thing and won't complain if something goes a little sideways.
Yeah. I like the Plaza. I've never stayed there, but I've played there several times. It's kind of one of the must go to places when I go downtown. So I might have to hit you up on that one. Let's see what I can do point wise next time.
Well, you know what I'll say. I'll tell you that Michael will take care of you, and he'd love to have you. It's the 10th through the 13th, I think, of November.
Timing right now is not good. Maybe in the spring.
Yeah. Well, this is a soft open, but PCH is going to start doing events there on kind of a semi-regular basis. So we'll get lots of opportunities.
Is that the same time as the rodeo?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I've never been there during the rodeo. Yeah. I just know Emerald Wanderer is going to be in town for the rodeo during that same time. So that's how I know.
What I understand, you're in for a good time. I think those Cowboys can have a lot of fun at the casino. They're good tippers. They're polite for the most part until maybe a few too many drinks. But yeah, I've always heard good things about the rodeo crowd at the Plaza.
Well, that's cool. I bought new boots when I was in Mexico, and so I have some new boots to break in. So maybe I'll take those out with me, and well, maybe breaking, to your point, shoes. Maybe don't break in the boots in Vegas. Maybe I'll.
Well, if you're going to stay at the Plaza, you can run back up to your room and change shoes if you're going to venture away.
Yeah, there we go.
But
all right, well,
yeah. I was going to say, kind of in wrapping things up, and I did play the TRG methods while I was there, and it did exactly what it was designed to do. TRG2, spending time at the table, Didn't risk a whole lot of money, didn't win a whole lot of money, didn't lose a whole lot of money. It was exactly what I needed. So I appreciate everything that you've done just for the gambling community, not just craps, the whole gambling community. Really appreciate it.
Well, the best part about that is I appreciate hearing that, because that means I did this job well. I gave myself this job, and if that's how you perceive it, someone with the number of people you've talked to, the number of people you know in the world of gambling, vastly larger than mine. So for you to say that is certainly a tremendous compliment. I mean, thank you, but thank you more, because that communicates that I did something right in what I was trying to do here. So that's truly wonderful to hear. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, you're very welcome. Well deserved.
All right, I have to send you out into the podcast and hope you don't get lost without me. On the other side of the moment of casino wisdom sound, Equine Ensign is going to take over. And then when you hear bottles pop, it's time for you to join me in the virtual VIP lounge for some sips and a quick story. I am trusting you to take care of each other and not get lost on the way from here to the virtual VIP lounge.
What is going on, everybody? This is Equine Ensign, aka the 30-Day Gambler, coming at you. Just coming in to give you an update on how Play All Day did in its 30-day challenge. The 30-day challenge was going against Maeve AP's Tweaks, one of our squad mates. Unfortunately, Maeve's Tweaks did not improve Play All Day like we all hoped. He had a losing month, but Play All Day also had a losing month for that 30 days of just $125. So not too bad if you ask me, because your comps and all that free stuff you're going to get is way more than $125. So Play All Day went 20 winning sessions and 10 losing sessions, where Maeve went 19 winning and 11 losing. Maeve had a bigger buy-in and played a little longer and had more losses, so that could have been why he had more losses. I'm really not sure, because there were more than one tweak to Play All Day, so can't really say what might have helped or what might have hurt. But right now, I am rolling out the third 30-day challenge. I just finished episode 12 today. I'm rolling Play All Day out against Dave's Way from Casino Quest. That is a totally different strategy than Play All Day. So check that out and see how that's doing. And I'm hoping that both strategies will remain in the positive for that. So to get back to Play All Day in that 30 days, Play All Day went through 423 shooters. So you're looking at around 42 hours worth of play over those 30 days. Just imagine how many comps you're going to earn from that, plus hopefully from some money in your pocket, but not this month because it was just a $125 loss. And I will take that all day, because Play All Day is a grinding strategy to get time at the table, not really make a lot of money, hopefully make money, but hopefully earn those free things that you can get at the casino and those cruises. So let's look at the 60-day results for Play All Day. The first 30 days, Play All Day made $775, 23 winning sessions, 7 losing, had a win rate of 77%. This second 30 days, Play All Day lost $125, had 20 winning sessions and 10 losing sessions, had a win rate of 67%. So overall, in 60 days of playing Play All Day is still up $650, 43 winning sessions, 17 losing sessions. That's a win rate of 72%. That is not too bad if you ask me, for all that time at the table. Now, I'm going to do a quick breakdown of what a trip to Atlantic City might look for me. You can see more of a breakdown over at my YouTube channel, 30-Day Gambler, to see what the real breakdown looks like day by day. So I really thought that this breakdown and this trip, I was going to be down money just because of the way Play All Day started out with some losing sessions in the beginning. But I actually wound up $350 in the positive from this imaginary weekend trip I might take. And when I add in all the free stuff they give me, the rooms, the valet parking, the food, the drinks, all that stuff, I was in the positive, or the value back to me was $1,175. Can't beat that if you ask me. I got a whole free weekend Friday to Sunday, and I left with more money in my pocket than I did when I went down. So you can't beat that. So like I said again, if you want to see a breakdown of that in my spreadsheet, I did a little PowerPoint day by day so you can see what it might look like and how I might play. Go check that out over on my YouTube channel, 30 Day Gambler. And that's about it for my update. So good luck to everybody, and may the gambling gods be on your side.
A little bit of the bubbly. Welcome to the most must-listen to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual IPAs and beers, the best virtual wines and champagnes, the best still and sparkling water, the best virtual dueling chefs in the entire virtual lounge podosphere. It is true. It is damn true. Glad you made it, everyone. Glad you found it in between segments. Glad no one got lost getting through that without me. As always, if you can, press pause, pour a beverage, fix a plate. Let's take a minute for a quick couple of gambling stories that would fit in any VIP lounge anywhere that I might happen to be hanging out in. I went down to Casino One last weekend. Mrs. TRG was spending some time with her mother. I knew I'd spend some time playing Friday and Saturday while she was gone, and I looked at value. If I played locally, a small free bet and a drawing on Friday night were going to be my comps, and a pullover fleece on Saturday. But at Casino One, 2 hours south and east of our home, east of our home and near our home casino, Casino 2, but not our home casino. You need to find that if you want to join the Excelsior Brigade, if you want to join us in the virtual VIP lounge. But at Casino One, they were offering me 2 comped hotel nights. Honestly, probably as many comped nights as I want, as long as we kept our ADT up and then we didn't cross an occupancy limit. I don't really... in this case, 2 comped nights, but I'm never worrying about getting comped nights most of the time. New Year's Eve, maybe, that kind of thing. And anyway, at Casino One, I had a 6 times larger free bet than what my local casino was offering me, and a special Friday night kiosk free slot play offer that was more than 3 times as large as that single free bet locally. And then I was going to have a bounce back offer on Saturday of additional free slot play based on how many tier points I earned on Friday. So almost 2 days pay in value for driving 2 hours versus 30 minutes to my local casino. And I'm not even going to calculate what a small fraction of a day's pay the other one was. The comps at Casino One, even if we highly value the fleece, are fractions of a day's pay, not almost 2 days' pay in value. Casino One is very literally the casino where our podcast started. A casino I've been enjoying for several decades, and a casino where the amount I normally gamble is often among the larger bets on the table, and that is neither a brag nor a humble brag. That's an evaluation and an explanation. If I leave my house and instead of going east, I go 3 hours west and north, Eastern European grandmothers make me look poor and broke when I play compared to the wagers they are making. At my place, my play is trivial. Go the other direction, same guy, same bets, different markets, and my play looks much different. And I mentioned how my play looks for one reason. I get treated somewhat like an, in air quotes, big player at this particular property because of the surrounding economy, and their normal table limits from my point of view are a good bit lower than what I'm used to. So lower limits, not as affluent an economic region. They compete for kind of the lower range of wagers compared to my home casino, Casino 2. They're a smaller casino in the same region. So there's the background. There's the story about the story. It is within this environment that this quick story occurs, okay? It's Friday night. I'm playing a little video poker at the big bar in the center of the casino. You know, the same big bar that is in the middle of every single casino. Yeah, that bar, exactly. You know exactly. If you've ever been in a casino more than once, you know exactly what bar I'm telling you about. You've been there. And I order a Crown and Diet and said, short, meaning I didn't want a taller vessel for the drink with lots and lots of diet soda in it, just for the sake of consuming diet soda. I wanted ice, the liquor, and a small amount of bubbles. So I indicated I wanted it short. The bartender held up a glass and said, "This, am I right?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." I played, I left the bar, I found a blackjack table and a game to join. And maybe a good bit later, quite a while later, I ordered a second drink from a waitress as she came by. And she comes back with plastic cups of various sizes and a glass the same size as the one I got at the bar. Not something that stands out. Not something that I paid any attention to. Didn't think about it till after the events of the story. There's your foreshadowing. So fast forward to the next evening. It's after dinner. I'm ordering my first drink of the day from a different waitress that is at a different table. And she says, "In a glass, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she says with a smile, "I thought so. You're on the list." Now, many of you probably saw where this was going. It's easy for you to have more insight, perhaps, when I put emphasis on things. But it wasn't until that moment that it all kind of clicked for me, that it all kind of snapped into place. And I said, "There's a list?" And she said, "Of course, there's always a list." And she kind of chuckled and giggled. And I assumed she was joking. And that there's not a list of who gets glass and who gets plastic. I'm certainly not at Casino One often enough for them to pay attention to something like that for me. But I thought back as the dealer was shuffling and I looked around and I saw plenty of beer bottles and lots of plastic cups. And I didn't see any other glasses. I looked at the waitress tray when she came back, all plastic and my drink. I hope she was joking. Or maybe a couple of the waitresses noticed a preference and went with it. And I don't need to be on a list. I mean, Atlantic City Empress always goes out of her way to bring me a glass vessel for my drinks, not a plastic vessel. And I do appreciate it, but I am not a drink snob. I'm not a vessel snob. I feel like I should be doing some type of the Star Trek movie where they're looking for the nuclear vessels. I feel like I should be doing that shtick, and I don't think we'll do that. But really, I'm not a drink snob. I'm fine with bourbon in a solo cup in a parking lot if that's the right environment. Like I'm good with that. I do think that a casino lounge on the Strip that is charging almost $20 for a single pour cocktail can put it in a decent glass and run the dishwasher. I do think that in a high limit room where someone is playing $100 or more a hand of blackjack for an extended period of time, that something other than a cardboard cup is in order. But I'm really not a glassware snob. At a horse track in the middle of Appalachia where the good drinks from the top shelf are $9 for a double, plastic vessels are fine. They don't need to keep a list. I certainly hope she was joking, but if they do keep a list, I am so glad that I have managed to be on it. Please tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host. Remember our wisdom spokes. Don't tip away your win. I have spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out I was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand I was born a rambling man. Love it, hate it. It don't matter. Please share with your friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for the gift of your time. The most important part of the podcast is next, the Casino Combat Blues.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight, I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition, you should probably play alone. I know the house has an advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that. Don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business. The Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette or craps, you've gotta carry defense, cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty deals. Everybody has an alias, cause that's more fun we feel. It's the lure of winning money, it's got a very strong appeal.